this is another Wednesday webinar. For those of you who don't know what this is all about, we're going to talk about the hairstyling program today. We're going to answer your questions. We're going to get into more details about the program. So basically, the webinar is usually from like 6 to 6:45, and then we will have like a 15 minutes towards the end to just answer your questions. Before we do that, I'm just going to play a short video. We're going to take a look at that, and then we're going to continue from there.
Pick up the vibe, always lit, even outside. Smile on my face, don't kill my high. Never stagnate, just can't stay still, don't ask me why. Where to next, let time decide. Me and the world see eye to eye. Life's a journey, enjoy the ride.
Oh, is this my video? Okay, perfect. All right, so before we start, I'm just going to do our land acknowledgement and we'll go from there. So Fleming College respectfully acknowledges that we are situated on the Mississauga lands and the traditional territory covered by the Williams Treaties. Chimigwech to the Mississauga people for allowing us to continue our work in your territory. Now, all right, so this is our time, Chris. We're going to get started. Okay, so I actually have a list of questions. If you guys don't mind, I'm going to stop like sharing my screen for 1 second to fix something in the background, but we're going to continue from there.
Sounds great, Romina.
I'm going to pause for 1 second. Okay. Okay, perfect. So what I'm going to do, I actually have a few questions that I want to start with, and then Chris, that would be great if you can answer those, because these are usually the questions that I get a lot from students, you know, wanting to apply for hairstyling, or like just students that are usually like interested in this program. These are the most like common questions that I usually get. So if you don't mind, we're going to start with those, and then again, for the people who are like in the meeting, please feel free to like send your questions in the chat box and we will answer them as well. So what I would like to start with is that what truly sets us apart, like from other programs?
Thank you, Romina. And I'm excited to be here, and hello to everybody. I feel that the one emphasis at Fleming hairstyling that sets us apart is we get hands in hair right away. And we run the back half of semester 1 where we are doing friends and families hair. And in our scaffolding of semester 1, 2, and 3, in semester 2, we start right into Academy Salon, which is also a course that we run in semester 3. And this is where we actually work in a real hairstyling salon environment for 8 hours a week.
That's great.
It's one of the many things that sets us apart.
Yes, that's great. Yeah. And then also, can you speak a little bit about like our faculty and like how our instructors are selected?
Oh, Romina, thank you. I sure can. I get a chill thinking about how incredible our faculty are. We have, with including me, we have 14 faculty in the hairstyling program, which is outstanding. If you think about the art of hairstyling and you look at the different ways to come about specific principles, it's so valuable to be able to have so many different opinions and different ways of coming about things. So I feel that the faculty included in what set us apart is a part of that, because it's where else are you going to go to get 14 subject matter experts to be able to share and pour their heart out to you about a discipline like hairstyling? It's phenomenal.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. And then like what level of commitment and professionalism can students usually expect from this program?
Oh, Romina, that's another great question. So I feel that one of the biggest questions that I get as the coordinator of the hairstyling program coming in by email is, what is the commitment? And they see the term hybrid, and the question comes to me, you know, am I able to do this without actually having to come to the college to do it mostly at home? And my answer to that is no. The hybrid format for the hairstyling program is a virtual component that is connected to our core courses within the program. An example of that would be if you are doing a 4-hour HSTL2 session styling in foundations in semester 1, there would be a 50-minute virtual component to that course. And that's what the hybrid is referring to in the language from the college.
Okay, that makes sense. And so my next question is that I know that students usually get actual clients coming in. So how does that work with the real clients and real guests coming? So they would get more hands-on experience through that.
Sure. Yeah, sure. So when we were putting the program together, we really looked at it in 3 ways. We wanted to make sure that the students would have great success in their written government exam, as well as in the future of the Red Seal practical exam, which I am very excited about, and I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully that's sooner than later for Ontario. We haven't got a confirmation as to when that is going to be happening. And then the third component to that would be a real world experience. What that looks like when you actually leave our program and how prepared and ready you are to step into a salon environment. So the scaffolding of our curriculum and all of our courses has really been geared around the 3 components: to be able to be prepared for the government, to be prepared for the government practical, and to be prepared for the real world experience and going into a salon.
Perfect. So speaking of real world experience, I know that for hairstyling it's a compulsory trait. So how does our program support students in completing their apprenticeship and transitioning into the workforce?
Romina, you have all these great questions. Thank you for that one. So in terms of what we offer currently at Fleming Hairstyling, when you come to us, you will be leaving with 1,500 hours towards your government hours for completion while you are with us or afterwards, depending on your motivation and your interest and what your connections are in the industry. You can be doing your 2,000 hours of apprenticeship at the same time as actually working with us in the hairstyling program at Fleming. So it's a total of 3,500 hours, and how each student goes about getting the 2,000 hours is unique into themselves. If somebody already has an opportunity to be working in a salon, the manager of the salon or the salon owner would be working with the apprenticeship office with an officer from there, and they would be making sure that they document all of the hours at the same time.
Okay, that makes sense, and that's honestly great. And then, so how do students just not only secure employment, but also build a sustainable, respected career, if that makes sense?
This is a big question, and I feel like I could answer this in a lot of different directions, and I'll use a student example for you. A student comes to us already having some experience in hairstyling from high school, and perhaps they already have a specific skill set that they have really discovered that they love to do in hairstyling. That could be that they could specialize in curly hair, or perhaps they're a professional in braiding. So these types of skill sets that you're bringing to the program actually help to guide you in a direction that gives you the confidence to, in our semester 1, when you're working in our branding, marketing, and social media course, to be able to add this content into your social media. and build upon your resume right away in semester one. And as we keep moving into semester 2 and 3, we keep building more and more skills and adding more to that resume. And the confidence that gets built on already having a foundation sometimes is very helpful. But to the student who has no experience and has not taken hairstyling in high school and doesn't have a background, it's still not a disadvantage to them. As they come in, we have our core courses, which are shape, session styling, and color. And along with that, the other courses that are in business, which is directed specifically to hairstyling. And we build organically one-on-one with the student as well as a group. And we really do find that the students find their niche. And one of the things that I ask in semester one right off the bat in early lessons is, what do you see yourself becoming as a hairstylist? And that evolves over the next 3 semesters.
That
I
sounds
hope
great.
that
Yeah.
answered your question.
Yes, yeah, it did. Yeah. And then, so that's great. And honestly, it is one of my favorite programs. I've
Well,
been
thank
always
you.
like, yeah, like I personally wanted to be a hairstylist at one point in my life, but it's never too late. Maybe someday. But yeah, so that's great. And so I just have a few more questions before we start the presentation again. And how did this program come to fruition? Like, what vision guided like its development?
Mm. I love this question. So my background with Fleming hairstyling started quite early, and I feel that the college level program is something that I was so excited to get on board with and be a part of. And as a subject matter expert now with decades of experience, I can tell you that in the last 3 years, it has completely changed my life to learn the the things that are required at a college level for a program to align with the government standards, and to be able to work with the learning and development team and to put together a program like this. I will say I could speak on behalf of many of our faculty that I would love to take the year off and actually take the program myself that I've been involved in right from the beginning. And to your point, we actually have a student in semester one right now that was an employee of Fleming College and decided to go back to school and take the
I
hairstyling.
think this is my sign.
Yes,
Yeah,
and they're doing fantastic and loving it, and we're loving having them.
that's amazing. That's lovely. Okay, so one more thing I wanted to ask you, this is one of the questions I also get a lot when I'm on the road. It's just
Yeah.
how does like the semesters work? Like, because I know usually we have a September and January intake, and I know usually this program gets filled up pretty quick. We always have like a wait list, especially for September.
Mhm.
So how many people do we have in each lab? Or do we have like sections or cohorts if you have more than like a certain number of students each semester?
Yes, exactly. I think you answered all of that. So the main lab, which is on the main level of our Health and Community Services wing, which is A2116. If you're coming into the college, you go all the way around to the main entrances, and you can see us in the windows. Actually, it's pretty cool. We've got a great lab there. So that main lab accompanies up to 30 students. So
Okay.
on average, we usually accept 24 students per cohort. And if we, like in September, ended up getting a lot of interest, we did 2 sections of students so that we were able to get more people in.
Okay. That sounds great. Okay, so I think these were mainly what I had in mind today for my questions. I'm gonna check and see if anyone has any questions in the chat before we proceed. Um, no. As of now, nothing yet. But we, again, like we do have another 15 minutes at the end.
Hmm.
So if you guys want to wait until the end and ask your questions, not a problem at all. All right, perfect. So let's go back to the presentation. So here we go. All right, so now, Chris, I'm gonna leave this up to you. We take over. And I would just love to like, yeah, start off the like hairstyling and like the intersection between like art, science, and social. So if you want, yeah, feel free to take over. I would love to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, thank you. So I love to see this. This was something that just kind of rolled off one day when I was speaking, and one of my managers, Nick Stone, he said to me, "Christopher, can you say that again? What did you say?" And I said, "It's an art, science, and social," and it's stuck. And we have had that catchphrase ever since. So when students come into open house, and sometimes family come with them, parents, which is totally fine, um, I really see an interesting, diverse group of people. Some are coming that are already extremely creative and artistic. Others have more of a science background in a field, and some people that are coming in just love people and can't wait to spend time communicating and connecting with people. So I feel like all three complement a hairstylist. You don't have to have all three. I feel that if there's anybody coming in who's a little shy and introvert, that's a real, it's actually not, it's not a negative. When you're one-on-one with a guest, the introvert actually does very well with connecting and communicating.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, the art is really working with the fiber of hair and how to manipulate it in all the different ways that we do, whether it's with color, with styling, or shaping the hair. And then the science really does come into the angles and shapes, as well as our color, and understanding color theory and going through all the different types of color that is available, from temporary to semi-permanent, demi-permanent, and permanent. And then the social component, I feel that there's a word that comes to mind when we look at social, and it's connection. And
Mm-hmm.
the big word in our industry is called consultation. And I like to really see this more as a conversation opposed to a consultation.
Mm-hmm.
And we really work very hard with our students, all of our faculty, to really build on the connection and the conversation, or that consultation component. In the
Mm-hmm.
beginning of the program, when you were asking me, what sets us apart, when we were together as a cluster and deciding as subject matter experts that we had brought in from all over to decide what was really significant, what needed to be and relevant to the industry, it was the
Mm-hmm.
consultation component.
Mm-hmm. No, for sure. And I totally understand how important that is. Like, that social aspect of it might be actually the most important, right? But yeah, like that totally makes sense. That's great. So,
Can I ask you a question right now, Romina?
of course you can.
Okay, so I'm just curious, after now that you've gotten to know me a little bit, and you can be completely honest, would you feel comfortable allowing me to do your hair?
Of course, 100%.
Oh,
And
thank
that's
you.
why I said it's so important, right? Because
Thank you.
you have to like first of all be comfortable with the person, like, it
Yes.
does involve a lot of touching in the hair, So
Yeah.
I totally get that, and you have to like build that connection with the person. Yeah. So I think I get your point. I
Yeah.
get your point.
And hairstyling is in the personal zone. And there's
Exactly.
not a lot of industries that are that personal, where we're massaging hair, we're working very close in an intimate space with one
Exactly.
person.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I totally get that. But yeah, I totally understand. Okay, so starting with our semesters now, we have 3 semesters in this program. Again, it is a hybrid program, 3 semesters. So this is what mainly students are learning in the first semester. Again, Chris, I'm gonna, pass this off to you, and then you can give us more information about what the students are learning in the first semester.
Yeah, thank you. So we use the word foundation as a base, and to be completely transparent with you, I can't stress enough how important the foundational techniques are in hairstyling, and I am still honing my skills and practicing and improving all of the time. And this is something that I find is an interesting word, the foundation, right? So in semester one, foundational knowledge really, I think, is an element that we all need to continue to remind ourselves that we can never stop learning and we always keep growing. My favorite semester to teach is semester one in foundation, because I feel like it's so exciting to take somebody who's never learned a technique before, and you teach them for the first time and the light bulb comes on and they get excited. We see here the foundations of color, session, styling, and shape. I'd love to emphasize too that we have some absolutely outstanding business faculty and the support. And these are specific business courses for the hairstyling program. These are not general business courses. And in semester one, to learn the business of social media, and many students who are enrolling in the program might be paying attention to our Instagram feed now. If they're not, I would recommend that they go to our Instagram feed and check out what's actually being submitted there. The students get very excited. It's one of our favorite courses, and brands actually recognize them. We have one student in particular right now that's very excited that she potentially will become a brand ambassador. This is a student that hasn't even entered semester 3 yet, and
Wow,
because of her social media presence is already recognized.
that's amazing.
Mm. So working
Wow,
with
that's
family and friends, sorry, I'm just going to catch on here. So the hands-on experience working with family and friends. So in semester 2, no, we're not gonna go there, but when we call it the Academy Salon, where we actually have a real salon experience, we felt that it was relevant in semester 1 to prepare them in the back half of the semester to start to feel comfortable with real people and real experiences, from the wash basin to whatever service it is, to the consultation component, to the software system that we schedule our booking appointments with, to actually taking money exchange, which would be credit card. But so the real hands-on experience that starts now, that we've had a few cohorts go through, the back half of semester 1, in one of our courses, we actually have the students already scheduling appointments. So we're currently right now in independent study week, and I'm currently teaching a two semester 1 courses. And that semester 1 course that I'm connected to, when we start in week 9, they will be scheduling friends and family, and they're very excited about it.
I see. I see. That's amazing. All right, well, now that we mentioned semester 2 a little bit, maybe we can actually skip to semester 2 as well. So
Mhm.
leave it off, like, yeah, pass it off to you again.
Mm. So I feel that the foundational work that our faculty have put in for our courses, such as, let's use shape and color as an example, they really set our students up for success in semester 2 working on clients. One of the biggest things that comes up with students in semester 1 is, are we really going to be ready to be doing clients in semester 2? It could be like really early on in week 1, 2, or 3. And
Mhm.
confidently, I can say, yes, you will be ready. The way that they have developed the lesson plans to prepare them to understand the basic principles and to get ready for semester 2 to actually be doing clients. And I will say this. So in semester 2 in Academy Salon, there is a mentor there supporting you. So we call it the triangle. So we have the student stylist, the guest, and a faculty member there to support the student. So you're not going into the salon on your own and having to be concerned that way. It's a very organic and very dynamic course that we offer, and it's super exciting. If students are more comfortable doing certain things than other things, we shift the clients over. They get to communicate through email, to schedule appointments. The software system that we're using offers imagery so that the students get to see the guests before they come in. And it really is, it is an opportunity for them to be able to practice all of the things that they've worked on so hard in semester 1.
That's amazing. So yeah, if you have any family in the chat or in the meeting today, book an appointment. You're gonna get your hair done maybe by your own child, which is gonna be great. Um,
And
or
just before you leave that page, Romina,
yep, I
just
wanted to
before,
actually mention. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
yeah, you can go ahead. I was gonna mention the multicultural piece.
Oh yeah, I was gonna. Yeah, go ahead, please. Yeah.
Okay, so we talk about sort of what separates us and makes us unique. That question is so loaded, Romina. If I can share with you the students, I make them get prepared for a question that's very popular in our industry, and that is, what is current? And that question is such a loaded question. And when I think about the multicultural component to our program, and this is one of the courses that I wish I had the opportunity to go back and take. The faculty that are teaching are very specific and specialized in some incredible different genre of hairstyling. And one in particular would be the multicultural, where they're learning how to do uh, silk press techniques, chemical hair relaxants, permanent waves. And we don't make the students use the chemicals because they're pretty harsh. But it's a fantastic course, and I'm excited to think that we might be continuing to expand on that.
That's amazing. I actually got my hair done at our Skills Ontario event last year by our students. Yeah, which is actually reminding me of, like, I actually wanted to ask you about the Skills Ontario because I know we usually compete. So if you would like to kind of like speak about that a little bit, I think that would be great because, they were great last year as well.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that's coming up the first week of May. We select 3 students to represent in the competition. And we also select students to represent at our Fleming booth. And, thank you to Patty Lynn for allowing Hairstyling to be on the main floor and at the booth. The booth is a lot of fun. The first year that we did this, the students and I, when we were driving up, I said, I don't think that we'll have a lot to do. And I think that we'll, maybe chat with a few people here and there. And that's what it will pretty much look like. We started cornrow braiding and adding synthetic hair extensions in probably at 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning. And there was a lineup of students.
There was a lineup. Yeah, I remember.
Was there for your
amazing.
group as well?
Yeah.
So that's what we discovered. So the first year we didn't know what to expect. So now we bring tons of synthetic hair with us, and we just literally sit there and cornrow braid synthetic hair extensions in, and the students that are coming, the high school students that are coming to check it out, they love that. And the faculty that are there to represent are a lot of fun as well. So I'm excited about Skills. I think it's cool.
Yeah, I'm excited too. That was a great event. Lots and lots, we had like a very busy it was there was like a lineup the whole time pretty much.
Yeah.
That was amazing, and I still have my pictures of my hair done from my students. That was great, and they were actually great too. So yeah, that was amazing. All right, now semester 3 and our final semester. I'm gonna pass it off to you again.
Yeah, so the scaffolding of the program really, I would say that what you're learning in semester 1 and 2 is something that you're not going to forget because it is reiterated again in semester 3. So we really have our students well prepared for this red sealed government exam in terms of the practical element of hairstyling. That lab that we talked about in A2116, when they're coming in there, there's tripods, mannequins, there's wash basins. It's a legitimate hair utopia. And what we do is we build upon the technique. So with me in semester 1 teaching the basic foundational elements of specific things, let's say as an example in the course that I'm teaching, session styling. When you go into semester 2 in session styling with the new faculty, it's evolved from that to then semester 3 once again. And I'll say this, that even if I was to do 2 cohorts of a semester 1, say module 2, the way that you teach a specific group of students is not exactly the way that you teach the other group of students. So it really is influenced on the energy of and the camaraderie and the team effort that's put in with all of the students as peers and with me as a coach. And in saying that, the fact that you have 14 faculty and everybody has their own unique specialty, it really does build some really great tech structure and support for the students to have when they leave with the real world experience.
Yeah. And
I'm going to
sorry,
just
there's,
expand on that, if you don't mind. I just want to expand on this. So
oh yeah,
an
please go ahead. Yeah.
an example of this in our course, our program, is our subject matter experts who have developed courses and who are teaching the courses. This is a relatively new program. So now that we've been at it for 2 years, you still have the faculty that developed the courses that are teaching you, which is really special. And the teachers that didn't develop are equally as incredible as well, as we kept expanding, as we got bigger and had to keep adding more faculty. But a point to this is there are some courses, and I'm not sure specifically which ones, but my chair had submitted to all of our faculty the courses that they were going to be teaching in the next semester. And my phone went wild. And the reason why is our faculty are subspecialists and they're really, really awesome hairstylists in hair in all of hairstyling, but they're outstanding in these specific disciplines. And the messages were coming in and the management retracted all of the contracts and went back to the drawing board, and it's like, okay, so this is the color specialist? Yes. This is a shape specialist? Yes. And then everybody was happy again. So our faculty are outstanding, and they really love their specific courses that they're teaching in, most of them. And it's exciting to see that, and that's what I was saying to my point when, I get an opportunity, if one of the faculty welcomes me in to sit in their lab, and I get to learn from these incredible experts. These are master colorists with brands in our industry, and we've got hair cutting experts that travel across the country teaching hair cutting, like
Wow.
two experts who are coming in to teach at the very basic level, and it is a wow. It's really cool.
That's amazing. And so, sorry, there was one question that I wanted to ask from the previous slide. So you mentioned that we don't do chemical treatment. Do you mean that we don't teach that, or is that just not something that will be applicable when we have like guests or clients coming in?
So what we try to do with, say, permanent waving and chemical hair relaxant
Hmm.
is we limit the amount of chemicals that the students have to be using in order to learn the
Hmm.
discipline.
Okay.
You know, so it's just some of it is very dated chemical.
Yeah.
Let's use a perm as an example. I've been in the industry long enough that when you walked into a salon, it just smelled like rotten eggs. So
Yep.
we don't need to use the chemical all the time in order to teach
Hmm.
the discipline. So you know,
Okay.
obviously, there's multiple different variations of permanent wave, and the component that's key there is the ability to properly wrap a perm. The key component to the chemical hair relaxant obviously is to be watching it to make sure that we're not over processing, but at the same time to
Hmm.
understand what the basic principles are of how to apply the chemical hair relaxant. So we can
Hmm.
spend a lot of time learning the discipline without actually having to use the chemicals.
Okay. That makes sense. Yeah, I understand. And so when we're speaking of uh just a quick question also. I know makeup artistry is also a part of the program. How
Mm.
does that work? Is that also like a course like that is integrated into the program, or is it just something that they will just maybe get like some beginner level of like training in it?
Yeah, it's really cool. You know,
Hmm.
this is a semester 3 15-week course within our hairstyling program. And it's also it's recognized in high school as a dual credit course.
Okay.
And so the students uh, don't quote me on this one, but I believe the students who have done dual credit makeup have the learning outcomes that are required for the makeup artistry course in semester 3.
Yes, I know sometimes for dual credit courses, like they might be able to transfer credits.
Mm-hmm.
So that might be a possibility too. But yeah, that's really cool. That is like it's kind of integrated into the program as well.
Yeah, and you know, there's oftentimes we'll get barbers that come to our hairstyling program, and
Oh,
they have a lot of fun in that makeup course. You know,
yeah.
it's something that they wouldn't have thought to do, but they love to learn it.
Yeah. And I think it's amazing to kind of combine like both because I do know like a lot of hairstylists that also like they do makeup as well. So I think that would be
Mhm.
great that it's already part of the program. So you technically don't need to take another separate program for that if you're also interested in that. I think that's great.
I think of one of my colleagues, Alicia Kyle, and she's a wedding specialist.
Yeah.
And you know, when you're going on site, um, how cool how cool is it, or how cool would it be to be able to do both for the wedding party?
Yeah, that's
Uh,
amazing. And
Yeah,
especially, yeah, especially for weddings as well. Yeah, that's gonna be amazing. So,
I know when Alicia was coming on board as one of our faculty, I was actually reaching out to her about a makeup artist and who would you be inclined to look at in terms of you know, maybe giving them a nudge to put a resume in and whatnot.
mhm.
So yeah, so Alicia's one of our wedding specialists, and she's a fantastic session stylist teacher for us at the college as well. But she's not a makeup artist.
Chris, before we go to the next slide, can I ask one more question? So, when it comes to getting a job,
Hmm.
I know that obviously we cannot guarantee a job at the college, but I know we have job fairs happening usually twice a year. And then do we usually help the students or like let's say they're doing really well in the program to kind of like maybe help them with the apprenticeship portion of hairstyling or like maybe help them finding a salon? Or is this something we could do or to help them with or not really? How does that work?
That's a great question. So I believe that the answer from a college level is that we are not to support by reference. Um,
Mm-hmm.
However, I'll give you an example of a student who has strong social media presence, has a specific skill set that they really excel at and they love to focus on, and they um, graduate. One in particular that I can speak of right now had four job offers when they graduated
Wow.
the college. So you speak to you asked me the question in the beginning, why bring the program to the college? It was a bit of a fun play on words when we were talking about this, but it was required, and we, not Peterborough, but basically this region of Ontario needed this. We have
Exactly.
students that are coming from Durham. We have them from Cobourg. We have them from all over, and it's so fun, and it's such an enjoyable experience. But to this point is I think that if you are interested in this industry and you come and attend the classes, as you're saying here, that's highlighted in the slide, that it would be a key component to really getting your foot in the door and getting a specific location and a job.
And it's also great that they get like 1,500 hours, like towards basically their apprenticeship hours, which is amazing. Um, okay, that sounds great. All right, so pretty much almost done. How to succeed. I think I'm gonna leave this with you because I know you have a lot to say about this one specifically. So I'll give the mic back to you.
I was going to ask you the same thing because I feel like with your background, one nice thing for the students to know
Yeah.
is all of the different departments that we have at the college. And
Mm-hmm.
before we
Mm-hmm.
came online, how you and I had this lovely conversation, and I was asking you questions. And
Mm-hmm.
there's such an amazing group of departments at Fleming College. And when I
Yeah.
think of this one thing that says seek support, having the go-to people like yourself and like me, I'm always an email away. And if any student has any questions at all, I do my best to answer it if it's a question that's for me. But I know that there's different departments at the college that are there for them. And,
Yeah.
this is something that is, it's hard to compare it to with what we have to offer at the college. And I almost want to ask you that question, like when
Yeah.
you look at the different departments, and when I asked you, is your department across from the registrar's office? And you're like, yes, that's where I am. And when I first came into the college, I was just blown away, between IT and the registrar's office and your office,
Yeah.
and accessible education services and and it's just the counseling. It's just like, wow,
Yeah.
it's so incredible, all the things that we have to offer,
Yeah, no, for sure. I totally understand. Yes, I can take over a little bit actually.
Yeah,
I know
please.
you always kind of like express how you want students to attend classes, they should be willing to learn, they should be flexible. I totally get that. And like it's really important for honestly any program, especially programs like this one that are so like hands-on and practical. And but we
Mm,
are also here to support you. I feel like if we have anyone in the chat that are like maybe in high school right now, there are some big differences between a college and like a high school. So in
mhm,
college, you kind of have to be more proactive. You have to
mhm,
self-advocate a little bit, but we'll make sure that you get the support that you need. We have different types of support. We have accessible education services. For example, if you have an IEP, they don't get transferred over, automatically. So you will come to us. We'll
mhm,
make sure that you get the accommodations that you need. We have inclusion support. We have Indigenous student support. We have financial aid office. We have like a financial aid office if you
mhm,
need help with like OSAP or like applying for bursary or a scholarship. We have our IT desk, like if you have any technical issues. We have our NARS
mhm,
office if you have any non-academic requirements and you need help with your documents. So there's so many
mhm,
different services that you guys can take
mhm,
advantage of. And I would also like to add that we have like a gym membership that is included in your tuition as a full-time student. You also get a bus pass for the
Awesome.
city of Peterborough included in your tuition, so that's another plus. We have obviously health services also, so let's say if someone is not from Peterborough or like you don't have a family doctor, you can always book an appointment with a doctor or nurse. This is kind of some general info, not necessarily geared towards hairstyling, but yeah, just to add that I think it would be good for students to know just in general how many, like, we're here for you. So you just have to make sure that you reach out to us, and then we'll make sure that you get the support that you need.
That's so incredible. And to add to that, I love the student success coach. I
Yes.
think it might be a different term today.
Nope, that's the
That's
term. You got it.
okay, perfect,
Yeah.
right? So, and really what we say, when open house happens and we're in orientation, moving into the first semester, and what we continue to communicate to the students from a faculty level is that we are here for you. And some cohorts take a couple of weeks to really believe it, but it is true. The success of this program is now proven, and it comes from students who are really advocating and promoting and loving the program themselves. So I won't have a job if this program isn't successful. And it's really important to me that the students recognize and understand that your best interest is my best interest, and all of our faculties think and say the same thing, and we do our very best.
Yeah.
My question to you would be onboarding and any challenges that a student might have. Would you say that, and I'm just curious, would you say that the best recommendation would be to come to the kiosk at the college and actually schedule an appointment with the registrar office and speak to an expert in that department to get you connected sooner than later?
Yeah. So basically, for those of you who are like here today, we will leave our email address. I will leave my email address in the chat as well. So feel free to reach out to me directly. But I'm saying this for our YouTube upload for later on. But so yeah, if you would like to come in person, we do have a kiosk. We have like a ticketing system, so they can definitely come in person and speak with someone. If they can make it, that's okay. We have a phone line and our emails, so they can reach out to admissions if it's like an admission related inquiry, or if they just don't really know where to go or like who to reach out to. We have our ask us at flemingcollege.com. We will leave the email after for everyone to kind of like, you can take a screenshot and I will leave it in the chat as well. So this is our general recruitment email. So if you don't know who you need to reach out to, feel free to email us and then we can actually connect you to the right person. If not, I will leave my email address. Well, Chris is also here, and like we will leave your email address as well towards the end. And then if you have any specific questions about the program, it would be best like to reach out to the program coordinator. If not, if it's just like a general question or like, let's say like something that has anything to do with like the registrar office or like admissions or financial aid, or if you don't know who that is, reach out to us and we'll be happy to assist you. And I think, sorry, we got one question. So let me just go back to the chat here. How is the hybrid schedule split? Is it about 50-50 or majority in class? I'll actually leave that for you, Chris.
Yeah, so I would say it's not exact, but I would say it's approximately 1/3 theory and 2/3 practical. So that would look like this. So let's say we are looking at semester 1 in my HSTL2 session styling, where it's a 4-hour lab that has a combined on top of that a 50-minute virtual component. So in total, that would be a 5-hour course, or that a 5-hour module, but 4 hours of that module is done in the lab. So that would be approximately what you're looking at for most of the courses. There's some variations depending on the hours of the specific courses, but I would say that it's more practical than it is. It's more practical than it is virtual. In terms of the hybrid word, I look at that as the virtual to lab component comparable.
That makes sense because it is a hands-on program. And what I would also like to add,
Well, thank you.
so yeah, thank you, Emily. So actually, so usually for timetables in general, students receive it like 2 to 3 weeks before the start of the program. We actually make the timetable, it would be basically ready. So we will send it to students. Sometimes for some courses, you might be able to add drop swap like a course, but that depends on availability and it depends on the program. But that's usually how it works. So we don't really have the exact schedule right now, like for example, like September, but you will receive a timetable closer to the start date. Hope that answers the
Romina, what
question.
I've actually done in the past sometimes when students are really curious about how much of a workload this is going to look like, I will send them an old timetable
Yes.
and just say, this is what a week looks like in the hairstyling program.
Yeah.
And where you see labs, you're at the college. And where you see the
Yeah.
virtual, you are online. So it is majority at the college.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I used to do that, and I used to like tell students to also reach out to the program coordinators to see if they can have maybe send them like a schedule from like the previous semesters. At least that
Yeah,
would give them like a rough idea what it's gonna look like, right?
yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, so we're almost done. This is our last slide.
Mm.
So as I mentioned, hairstyling is a compulsory trade. That means you have to get into an apprenticeship in order to be able to work as a hairstylist. So I think we kind of like we talked about this a little bit, but Chris, is there anything else you want to add when it comes to this?
Yeah, I
Like
think that
hairstyling as a trade?
yeah, thank you. And you know, we're proud to say that hairstyling in Ontario is a recognized trade, which is fantastic. So the hours that are provided at our program are 1,500 hours, which give you the level 1 and level 2 uh, of the requirements from the government standards. As you move into the second there, where it says hours still required, 2,000 hours of on-job training, that is subject to each individual student, whether they apply for a job while they're in school or whether they wait until after school if they feel that their life is full enough with school. You know, so that would be not a placement, but that would be by resume and by reaching out to a multitude of different salons to get a job. And then in terms of the exam requirement, I'm excited to share that I think that the next time we have one of these webinars that we will likely be saying the red sealed practical exam as well. So the current written exam for the government is something that is completed after you do your 3,500 hours. And then moving forward, we're hoping to see the red sealed practical evaluation done in Ontario, which is not currently being done right now.
That's amazing. Yes, fingers crossed, that would be amazing. So basically the difference is that right now it would be just a theory-based kind of questionnaire or like a test. But once it's a red seal exam, it will be practical and theory, correct?
Yeah. And I
Okay.
believe with Red Seal, it gives you the opportunity to go across Canada. Don't quote me, but I
Canada,
think
yeah.
that's what it offers. So
Yeah.
that's exciting. And I've always felt that it's relevant to have the government measure the practical side of things as well. And when I'm
Yeah.
teaching a class on something that might look very classic and traditional, say we're doing you know, a chignon or a beehive or a French twist, you know, it's always relevant and can be made current, but it's even more relevant when you know that this potentially could be in a practical evaluation format from the government as well. So finger waves are a fun one. We have a good time working on finger waves and whatnot. So yeah, it's exciting, and I'm happy that we have some people asking questions right now. So that's cool.
Okay, that's amazing. All right, well, that was great. So this is almost the end of the presentation. So I am gonna leave our email address and Chris's email here. You guys can actually take maybe like just a picture of that QR code if you want to visit us online. You can also take a screenshot of our emails. Again, if you have any general inquiries, feel free to reach out to us to the Ask Us email. If it's more like it's specific towards like the hairstyling program, you can always reach out to Chris. He's amazing. So
Thank you.
yeah, and I think
And there's
that was
no silly questions, you know,
there are
don't
no
feel
silly
that.
questions. We both love questions, so please feel free to let us know if there's anything. Even if it's not like if it's more like of a general question, you can definitely let us know. If not, then we should probably wrap this up soon.
Sounds perfect to me, Romina. Thank you very much for taking the
Yes, thank
time.
you
It's
so
been,
much, Chris. That was amazing. So informative. Lots of information, it would
I'm
be,
looking
yeah.
forward to doing it again.
Yes, hopefully, yes, soon. Maybe once we have the Red Seal, the
Yeah,
Red Seal
cool.
program.
Yeah, sounds great.
Okay, so let's leave, um, give us a few more minutes. Okay, no more questions. Are we all good? You're welcome,
Oh, thank
Emily. Thank you
you.
for joining. Yeah. Okay, perfect. So that is it for today.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Chris. That was amazing. So
Thank you.
hope to see you next time.
Yeah,
Bye.
awesome. Okay, bye.